Okay, hello and welcome to week 5, everyone. Sorry, starting this week with a little bit of confusion. Um, so in the undergraduate section, I sent an email out about this. I suppose you've already seen it or will notice anyways when you go to do your notes. For whatever reason, I had published the graduate sections of our course on Thursday when I usually do, and missed or didn't publish it correctly anyways. So the undergraduate section, module 5, was not published until just now. So that is now there available for you. And as I made a note in the email that I sent you, I went ahead and pushed back the deadlines for the notes in order to give you a couple extra days. So whereas notes 5.1 would normally be due tomorrow, these will now be due Thursday, and notes 5.2 aren't due until Sunday. My apologies. I don't know why that wasn't published, but thank you for those who let me know that they weren't. And hopefully the extra couple of days now gives you some cushion still to be able to get those in. But let me know if there's any problems there. Um, Also with the graduate section, I think it was in the online section, article discussion 9. Uh, there's an option on the back end where I select it to be a group discussion and assign the groups. For whatever reason, that one escaped getting the group assignment. So I think it only impacted 3 of you, but you had already gone in and posted, and so it was the full course that was on this discussion board. So I copied and pasted um, your posts, your responses, and then I took them off and reassigned this to be in your discussion groups, and then pasted your original post back in. My apologies again. That was a kind of wonky error, but article discussion 10 wasn't impacted. It was just 9. Anyways, so all of that is ironed out, but I just wanted to be transparent about some of the weirdness that took place with module 5 over the weekend. Seems as if everything is in place now, though. So for this week, we finished up last week, moving from France to Russia. Now we're taking another jump from Russia to England and learning about the Royal Academy and the art scene in London, where we'll be for another few weeks before we get into some topics and some issues prior to the start of the French Revolution at the end of this course. Um, so for this week, there are the standard 2 units, 2 article discussions for graduate students, and 2 notes assignments for undergraduates, checking quizzes as usual. The next assignment, though, in the progression of your semester-long assignment is your final project part 3. This will be some rough drafting that is due for everybody by the end of this week. So I just wanted to point out what it is that you'll be completing. So if you're an undergraduate, completing your annotated bibliography, in part 2, final project part 2, you had submitted a list of at least 5 preliminary sources that could count for this. When you complete final project part 3, you need to decide on 4 sources that you're going with. They could draw from that preliminary list of 5 sources that you had submitted for part 2. Hopefully, right, if your topic is still the same and you'd found adequate sources, you've been able to look through those 5 and decide the 4 that are going to make the cut. If you change topic or switched out some of your sources, that's okay, but I need to know, right, your 4 sources that you're working with. And then you're going to provide annotations for 2 of those 4. If you're doing a visual presentation or podcast, you need to integrate sources, at least 2 of your sources of the 4, and you need to include a rough draft that has an outline of your main talking points. And this can't just be like introduction, main part on this artist, and the conclusion. Like there needs to be a pretty thorough skeleton to this outline. Doesn't have to have all of the meat on the bones yet, but there needs to be a thorough skeleton. For the graduate students, if you're completing the annotated bibliography, you need to have the full bibliography of your 10 sources listed, which is not all of the annotations. It's just all 10 references that you're going to go with. And then annotations for 4 of those 10 sources. So you'll follow the instructions here. And there's an example of what an annotated bibliography will look like. So you can get at least 4 of those worked out. If you're doing the book review, then your rough draft of the book review is due. And I know that that's a discrepancy between, oh, the annotated bibliography, it's just a handful of the annotations for the book review. It's the rough draft of the book review, which means you will have read the entire book by the time you turn this in. There's just not a good way to say, like, write a book review for the first half of the book. It's basically like you've read it and you write the book review, or you didn't. So whereas that's maybe a little bit more work than if you had have done the annotated bibliography by this point, the upshot is that if you have read it and you do your write your book review well, and I go through and look at your feedback and you basically have it done, like you wrote it, your draft is clean, you have all of the content in there that's necessary, you could just be done with this final project part now at the end of part 5. If it's in good shape, then I'll say, yeah, all right, you did it, and you're basically set to go now for the final draft. So there's a little bit of a trade-off there. Okay, yeah, I don't want to belabor anything here, take longer than needed, but if you have any questions about these assignments or anything else going on in the course, the modules, whatever else, please let me know. Otherwise, have a good and happy fruitful Monday. Fall is falling. I don't know what it's like where you are, but we're starting to get a little bit of overcast here and some hints of rain and some colored leaves, and they're falling down a little bit. So it's really nice. I think we can all be happy that summer has come to a close. So go get a pumpkin spice latte on me and enjoy your week. Okay, talk to you soon, everyone. Take care.